The night was quiet on Nova Outpost. The stars outside the observation window burned softly against the darkness, and the hum of the station's generators was the only sound that broke the silence. Most crew members were asleep, but one room still had light. Inside, a young engineer named Tom sat at his desk repairing a small energy coil. He was focused, steady, and used to the long nights of work that came with being posted at the edge of human space. Tom liked his solitude. The outpost was small. Only 30 people lived there, and most of them stayed busy keeping the research modules running. For Tom, fixing things brought calm. He had been working on the same coil for hours, his tools scattered across the table. Outside his room, the lights in the hallway flickered. Tom barely noticed it at first, but then the generator hum changed. It dropped in pitch like something was draining power from the system. Tom frowned, stood up, and checked the status display on the wall. The screen flashed red for half a second, then went blank. "System fault," he muttered, tapping the screen. The controls did not respond. The lights in his room dimmed. The air system slowed, and for a moment everything went still. Then came a soft metallic sound from the door. A faint click. Tom turned quickly. "Who's there?" he called out. No one answered. He walked toward the door. The lock light turned green on its own, even though the system was supposed to be offline. The door slid open with a sharp hiss. Cold air rushed in from the corridor, carrying the smell of burnt metal and something else. Ozone, sharp and dry. A tall figure stepped inside. She moved slowly, like every motion took effort. Her body was covered in dark armor, cracked and glowing faintly along the seams. Smoke rose from her shoulder plates. She was clearly injured. Tom froze. The armor was not human design. It was smoother, more organic, as if it had grown around her instead of being built. The surface pulsed with dim blue light. He could not see her face, only the faint reflection of her eyes through the visor. The figure took 3 steps into the room. Then, without saying a word, she reached for her chest plate. The locks released with a hiss and the armor fell away, piece by piece. Underneath, Tom saw pale skin marked with faint energy scars that looked like lightning frozen in place. Her clothes were simple, made of strange metallic fabric that shimmered with heat. When the last piece of armor fell to the floor, she stood there swaying slightly. Her breathing was uneven. She looked at Tom and her expression softened. Then she smiled, a tired but peaceful smile, as if she had finally reached somewhere safe. Before Tom could speak, she collapsed. Tom rushed forward and caught her before she hit the ground. She was lighter than he expected. Her skin was warm, almost hot to the touch, and her pulse beat fast against his arm. "Hey, stay with me," Tom said, lowering her to the floor. "Can you hear me?" No answer. He tapped his wrist communicator, but it was dead. Power across the station must have gone out completely. He looked down at her again. The armor around her had stopped glowing, but small sparks of energy still danced across the metal fragments. Tom lifted her gently and carried her to the bed in his room. He pulled a thermal blanket over her and checked for injuries. Her arms were covered in burns that looked like plasma damage. There was a small cut near her neck, but it was not deep. He ran to his toolkit, grabbed a med spray, and treated the burns. The liquid hissed as it touched her skin, releasing a thin layer of mist. Slowly, the angry red marks began to fade. "Who are you?" he whispered. He looked again at the armor on the floor. A strange symbol was engraved near the chest plate, a circular pattern surrounding a small triangle. It looked familiar. Tom realized it was similar to the insignia used by Terran Defense Command, but with alien symbols around it. That made no sense. No human or allied species used this kind of technology. He picked up a piece of the armor. It was warm but incredibly light. The material seemed to shift under his touch like it was alive. He placed it on the desk and scanned it with his handheld analyzer. The screen displayed an error message. The device could not read the material at all. Tom frowned. He had seen many strange things while working on outer colonies, but nothing like this. A faint sound made him turn. The woman was stirring. She opened her eyes slowly. They were a shade of silver he had never seen before. Her gaze was sharp but calm. She looked around the room, confused, then back at him. "Where am I?" she asked softly. Her voice was clear but carried a slight metallic tone. "You're on Nova Outpost," Tom said. "You collapsed when you entered my room. I treated your burns. Who are you? How did you get here?" She blinked a few times as if trying to recall something. "My name is Rin," she said at last. "I was running from what?" She closed her eyes for a moment, breathing slowly. They found us. The Dominion. I escaped through the breach gate. It brought me here. Tom's heartbeat quickened. The Karth Dominion was a name whispered among colonies but never confirmed. They were said to be an empire that crushed entire civilizations far beyond human space. You mean the Dominion is real? He asked. Rin opened her eyes again. They are real and they are coming. Her voice was steady but her body trembled. She tried to sit up and Tom helped her. She winced from pain but managed to stay upright. He looked at the marks on her wrist. They were faint, but he could see small human letters beneath the alien script. The letters formed a short code, TDC-14 Terran Defense Command. Tom stared at it. You're human, he said quietly. Rin gave a small nod. Once, a long time ago. That answer sent a chill through him. She spoke as if she had lived for centuries. The lights flickered again and the room's control panel came back online. Tom quickly checked the system. Power was still unstable, but life support had restarted. The sensors showed a strange energy field surrounding the outpost. Rin saw it too. Her expression hardened. They tracked me. The Dominion uses signal beacons to follow escape pods. If they reach this place, you are all in danger. Tom looked at her, then at the window showing the empty stars. We have to warn the commander, he said. She nodded slowly. I can help. But first I need my armor. It contains a map and data they must not recover. Tom picked up the armor from the floor. The pieces were cracked but still pulsing faintly with blue light. You can barely stand, he said. I have to, she replied. They will not stop. Her voice carried a weight that made him believe every word. Tom helped her stand, steadying her by the shoulder. For a moment their eyes met. In that brief silence, Tom realized she was not just some lost traveler. She carried secrets that could change everything humans knew about the galaxy. As they prepared to leave the room, the alarm system came back online. Red lights flashed across the ceiling, and the sound of distant explosions echoed through the outpost halls. Rin looked toward the door, her expression turning sharp again. It is too late, she said. Tom grabbed his toolkit and moved beside her. Then we fight, he replied. The door opened with a hiss, revealing the corridor lit by flickering emergency lights. Smoke drifted in from the far end. Somewhere in the distance, the sound of footsteps echoed, heavy, metallic, and unfamiliar. Tom tightened his grip on the small energy cutter he always carried. Rin reached for a damaged piece of her armor and slid it onto her arm. The blue light returned stronger this time. Together, they stepped out into the corridor, ready to face whatever was coming. For Tom, the quiet life of an engineer had ended. For Rin, her long escape had brought her to the one place that might still fight back. And though neither of them knew it yet, the moment she walked into his room marked the beginning of a war that would test the strength and spirit of all humankind. The hallway was filled with smoke and the smell of burning metal. Red lights flashed along the ceiling and warning sirens echoed through the outpost. Tom and Rin moved quickly, staying close to the wall as sparks rained down from damaged wires above. The floor trembled with each distant explosion. Tom's communicator started to work again. The voice of the outpost commander came through with heavy static. All personnel report to defense stations immediately. Unknown vessels detected in orbit. Repeat, unknown vessels detected. Tom looked at Rin. She did not seem surprised. Her eyes were sharp and calm, scanning every door they passed. They are here, she said quietly. Tom stopped. You mean the Dominion? Rin nodded. Yes, they found me faster than I expected. The signal from my escape pod must have led them straight to this place. Tom's heart raced. Then the outpost doesn't stand a chance. We only have 2 defense drones and a handful of rifles. Rin turned to him. We can still survive, but you must trust me. Tom wanted to ask more, but a loud crash cut him off. The wall to their right burst open, sending smoke and fire into the corridor. A metallic creature stepped through the flames. It was tall, shaped like a man but built of sharp armor and glowing eyes. Tom pulled his energy cutter, ready to fight, but Rin stepped in front of him. Her damaged armor lit up again, blue light crawling across her arm. She raised her hand and released a pulse of energy that hit the creature directly. The air shook with the impact. The creature fell backward, its armor sparking before it went still. Tom stared at her in shock. What was that? Energy discharge from my suit, Rin said, her breathing heavy. I only have a few left before it fails completely. Tom helped her steady herself. We need to reach the control room, he said. It's the only place we can contact Earth, Rin nodded. And I need to recover my data core. It contains information about the Dominion's fleet movements. Together they ran down the corridor. The floor shook beneath them as another explosion went off somewhere deeper in the outpost. When they reached the main control room, they found chaos. Officers shouted commands while screens flashed red with warning messages. The commander, a tall woman named Kara, looked up as Tom entered. "Engineer, where have you been?" "The whole station is under attack." Tom saluted quickly. "I found someone outside the perimeter. She's not one of us, but she knows what's happening." Kara turned her eyes to Rin. "And who are you?" Rin straightened despite her injuries. "My name is Rin. I came from the outer colonies. The Dominion destroyed my world. They are coming for you next," Kara frowned. "You're saying the stories are true? The Dominion is real?" "Yes," Rin said. "They are not a rumor. They are a war machine that never stops. They enslave, they rebuild, and they move to the next system. Your outpost is already marked." Kara looked uncertain. "And how do you know all this?" Rin lifted her wrist. The mark with the Terran defense code was still visible under the alien symbols. "Because I was one of you. Long ago." That statement silenced the room. Even the alarms felt distant for a moment. Tom stepped forward. She showed me data from her armor. It had human coding mixed with alien script. "She's telling the truth." Kara crossed her arms. "Then what do you suggest we do?" Rin took a breath. "You cannot fight them directly. Their ships are stronger, their weapons faster, but they track by signal. If we can overload the energy core of this outpost, it will send out a false signal. They will think the target has been destroyed." Tom looked at her. "You want to blow up the station?" Rin shook her head. "Not completely. Just enough to make them think it was lost. After that, we can escape in your shuttle and send the warning to Earth." Kara hesitated. Destroying the core meant losing all their research data, years of work, and possibly their home. But she could see the determination in Rin's eyes and the fear in her crew's faces. "Do it," Kara said finally. "If what she says is true, we can rebuild later." Tom hurried to the engineering console and began typing commands. Rin joined him, guiding his hands through the unfamiliar sequence she had learned from Dominion systems. They worked quickly, syncing the reactor controls with the signal array. As they worked, Tom glanced at her. "You said you were one of us. What did you mean?" Rin kept her eyes on the screen. "My ancestors were human. Their colony ship was taken by the Dominion more than 100 years ago. The Dominion turned them into soldiers, mixed with their own technology. We were made to serve, not to live. I escaped when I learned the truth." Tom could hear the bitterness in her voice. "So you came here to warn us?" "Yes," Rin said. "I will not let them do to you what they did to my people." The console beeped. The overload sequence was ready. Kara gave the order to evacuate the lower decks. The crew rushed toward the shuttles. Suddenly, the ceiling above them cracked open. 2 Dominion drones dropped through the hole, their red eyes glowing. They fired plasma bolts across the room. Tom ducked behind the console. Rin moved fast, rolling across the floor and grabbing a broken metal rod. She swung it hard, striking one drone across the head. Sparks flew as it collapsed. The second drone fired again. The blast hit the wall near Tom, sending him flying backward. His arm burned from the heat, but he pushed himself up. Rin reached for the fallen drone's weapon, aimed carefully, and fired. The energy beam struck the last drone directly in its core, destroying it. Kara helped Tom stand. "We need to leave now," she said. Tom nodded. "The overload will trigger in 3 minutes." They ran through the corridors as alarms blared louder than before. The floor shook beneath them. Rin stayed close behind, her armor flickering weakly but still active. When they reached the shuttle bay, Kara sealed the doors. "Everyone aboard," she ordered. The shuttle lifted off, just as a bright flash erupted behind them. The outpost exploded in a silent burst of light, the fake signal shooting across the void. Tom watched through the viewport as the explosion faded into darkness. "Do you think it worked?" he asked. Rin nodded. "For now, yes. They will believe the station is gone. But this is only a delay. We must warn Earth before they send their main fleet." Kara set the shuttle's course toward the nearest relay station. "It will take 2 days to reach it," she said. "Plenty of time to prepare our message." Tom leaned back in his seat, exhaustion washing over him. His hands were shaking, not from fear but from the rush of what had just happened. He looked at Rin, who sat quietly beside him, staring out into space. Her silver eyes reflected the stars. "You saved us." Tom said softly. Rin turned to him. No, you saved yourselves. I only gave you a chance, he smiled slightly. Then we'll make that chance count. Rin gave a faint nod. Her expression softened for a moment, almost peaceful. I hope so. Because the Dominion does not forget. They will come for what they lost. Tom looked back at the stars. Then they'll find out what humans are made of. The shuttle continued its silent journey through the cold emptiness, leaving behind the wreck of Nova Outpost. Inside, Rin opened a small panel on her wrist. A holographic map appeared showing countless stars. Among them, one red mark pulsed slowly. She whispered to herself, "They are moving faster than I thought." Tom heard her and looked over. "What is that?" "The next target," she said quietly. "A human colony called Meridian." Tom's heart sank. Meridian was one of Earth's oldest settlements. He stood up. "Then we warn them first." Rin met his eyes. "And we will. But be ready, Tom. The fight is only beginning." As the shuttle drifted farther from the ruins, a faint light flickered across the void. Far behind them, deep in the shadow of a broken moon, 3 Dominion ships uncloaked, their black hulls reflecting the dying light of Nova Outpost. They had seen the explosion. They had read the signal. And they were already turning toward their next hunt. Rin closed her eyes, feeling the weight of every life that might soon depend on her. She whispered one promise to herself. This time humanity will not fall. The shuttle drifted quietly through deep space. Inside, the hum of the engines was the only sound. Tom sat beside the control console, his eyes half open, trying to rest after the long escape. Across from him, Rin sat still, her gaze fixed on the holographic map glowing in front of her. Commander Kara was at the pilot seat checking coordinates. "We will reach the relay station in 5 hours," she said. "Once we connect, Earth Command will receive our message." Tom nodded. Let's hope they believe it. The last time, someone talked about the Dominion. They said it was just an old space myth. Rin looked at him. "They will believe when they see the stars burn. I have seen what the Dominion does. They erase everything. Machines harvest the cities, and those who survive are turned into something else." Tom felt a chill. He wanted to ask what she meant, but the look in her eyes stopped him. There was pain there and something else. Guilt. The shuttle continued through the dark. Outside, distant stars moved like silent witnesses. A soft alarm beeped on the console. Kara frowned. "We have a transmission signal. It's weak but human." Tom leaned forward. "From where?" "Sector 14, she said. "That's near Meridian." Rin stood. "That is impossible. The Dominion should not be there yet." Kara opened the signal. The speaker filled the cabin with static before a broken voice came through. "This is Meridian Colony. We are under attack. Unknown ships in orbit requesting immediate assistance." Tom's heart sank. Rin closed her eyes. "They moved faster than I thought." Kara hit the controls. "We cannot fight them with one shuttle, but we can still send a warning to Earth." "No," Rin said firmly. "If Meridian falls, the Dominion will learn everything about your defenses. We have to slow them down." Kara turned in her seat. "And how do you expect to do that? We have no weapons, no fleet." Rin's hand rested on her wrist panel. "My armor has a navigation beacon from their system. If I activate it, they will detect my signal. They will come for me, not for the colony. We can lead them away." Tom shook his head. "That's suicide. They will destroy us the moment they find us." Rin's voice was calm. "They will not destroy me immediately. They want me back. I carry data they need. That will give us time to send the message." Kara hesitated. "If we do this, we all risk dying." Tom looked at both of them. "If we don't, the colony dies anyway." Silence filled the cabin. Kara sighed and nodded. "All right, we'll follow your lead, Rin." Rin entered a sequence on her wrist. The small beacon began to glow red. "Once I activate it fully, they will detect us within the hour," she said. "We must reach the relay station and send the message before they close in." Tom moved beside her. "I will help with the transmission setup." Kara took control of the engines and accelerated toward the relay. The shuttle vibrated as its small thrusters pushed it to maximum speed. Minutes turned into hours. The stars outside stretched into thin lines as they crossed through warp space. Tom worked beside Rin, checking the power cells and antenna system. He noticed that her hands trembled slightly. "You're hurt," he said. "I am fine," Rin replied softly. "My body heals fast. Dominion technology has its uses." Tom looked at her curiously. "You said your people were changed. What did they do to you?" Rin hesitated. "They rebuilt us. They mixed our human genes with their machines. We became stronger, but we lost what made us human. They removed emotions to make us obey. I was different. The process failed. I could still feel. So they called me broken and locked me away." Tom watched her with quiet respect. "Maybe that failure is what saved you." Rin gave a small smile. "Maybe." The console beeped again. Kara's voice grew tense. "They found us. 2 Dominion ships on long-range scanners." Rin checked her beacon. "They took the bait faster than I thought. Increase speed. We can still reach the relay." Tom helped reroute power from the cabin lights to the engines. The shuttle shook violently as the systems overloaded. Sparks flew from one of the panels, and smoke filled the room. "They are closing," Kara said. "Distance 5,000 kilometers and decreasing." Rin activated her armor interface. The blue light returned across her chest and arms. "I will handle them when they arrive," she said. Tom looked at her with concern. "You can't fight ships with a broken suit." "I don't need to destroy them," she replied. "I just need to distract them long enough for you to finish the transmission." The first Dominion ship appeared outside the viewport. It was black and sleek, shaped like a spear with red energy lines running along its sides. Its presence filled the shuttle with an invisible pressure. A voice came through the speakers, cold and mechanical. "Unit 7 Rin detected. Return to Dominion control or be terminated." Tom felt the words like ice in his chest. He turned to Rin. "Unit 7 Rin, that's you." Rin nodded slowly. "Yes. That was my name when I was one of them." The voice repeated the command. "Return to Dominion control." Rin stood tall. "Tell them no." She tapped her wrist. A burst of blue energy flashed across the shuttle's outer shield, momentarily blinding the enemy sensors. Kara took the chance to dive the shuttle toward the relay station. The Dominion ships fired plasma bolts that streaked past their hull. The shuttle shook violently as one bolt grazed the wing. Alarms screamed. Tom held onto the console. "We can't take another hit." Rin moved to the airlock. "I will go outside. Their scanners focus on my signal. If I can pull them away, you can finish the message." Tom followed her. "You can't survive in space without power." She looked back at him. "You forget. I am not fully human anymore." Before he could stop her, the airlock opened and Rin stepped out into the black void. Her armor flared bright blue as she floated toward the Dominion ships. Inside the shuttle, Kara yelled, "We lost visual." Tom ran to the console and saw her signal moving toward the enemy ships. Her beacon shone like a small star against the darkness. Outside, Rin faced the massive warships alone. She raised her arm, and blue energy arcs burst from her armor. The Dominion ships responded with red plasma fire. Rin moved fast, dodging blasts and sending her own bursts of energy back. It was like watching lightning dance in the dark. Tom's heart pounded. He wanted to help, but the best he could do was finish the mission. He sat at the console and began setting up the transmission sequence. Kara called out, "Transmission ready in 60 seconds. Rin's voice came through the radio, faint but steady. "Send it now. Do not wait for me." Tom clenched his fists. "We are not leaving you." "You must," Rin said. "If I fail, the Dominion will destroy everything. You have to make them ready." The shuttle shook again. One of the Dominion ships exploded suddenly, torn apart by a burst of blue light. Tom stared in disbelief. Rin had destroyed it using her armor's full energy discharge. Kara shouted, "Message sent. Earth Command received it." Tom looked at the scanner. Rin's signal was fading. "Rin," he called through the radio. "Come back. It's done. We did it." There was silence for a moment. Then her voice came. Weak but calm. Good. Then humanity has a chance. The second Dominion ship fired one last blast. The explosion lit up the stars. When the light faded, her signal was gone. Tom's chest felt hollow. He stared at the empty screen, hoping for a sign. Kara placed a hand on his shoulder. She bought us time. We have to use it. He nodded slowly, unable to speak. The shuttle drifted away from the battle zone. Behind them, pieces of wreckage floated like glowing dust. Tom watched them silently, refusing to believe she was gone. Hours passed. The shuttle finally reached the Earth relay network. They were safe for now. As Tom sat alone in the quiet cabin, the console blinked. A small blue light appeared on the screen. It was a signal, weak and fading. Tom's eyes widened. "It's her," he whispered. The message opened. Rin's face appeared, faint and flickering. "Tom, if you see this, then I am alive. The Dominion captured me again, but I will escape. I still have the data. Do not stop. Tell your leaders that they cannot trust everyone. There is a traitor among them." The message ended abruptly. Tom stared at the dark screen, his determination burning stronger than ever. Rin was alive, and she was still fighting. He looked toward the stars. "We will find you," he said quietly. "And we will end this war." Outside, the stars of the human colonies glimmered like distant fires, waiting for the storm that was coming. Earth Command was in chaos. The warning from Nova Outpost had reached the central hub just hours ago. Screens lit up with red alerts as reports from Meridian Colony poured in. Unknown ships had entered human space, and their technology was unlike anything humanity had ever faced. Commander Kara and Tom arrived at the command center. Earth's fleet was spread thin, guarding trade routes and distant colonies. Now, with the Dominion moving closer, every available ship was being called to the front. Tom felt a mixture of fear and determination. He had seen the Dominion's power firsthand. He had seen Rin fight them alone. He had felt what it meant when they attacked the human colonies. A senior officer approached. "Commander Kara, the fleets are preparing, but our ships are no match for the Dominion's cruisers. Their shields and weapons are far beyond ours." Kara nodded. "We will use strategy and speed. Tom, you will help design countermeasures. Rin's data is our best chance to survive." Tom looked at her. "Do we even know where she is?" Rin's last message had been faint, barely readable. "She is alive," he said firmly. "She will escape. We have to make sure we are ready when she returns." They began studying Rin's data. It was complex, a mix of human code and alien algorithms. The Dominion had integrated human technology into their systems, making their ships faster and more precise. Tom worked with engineers to understand it. He quickly realized that if they could adapt the data, Earth's fleet could gain a temporary advantage against the Dominion. "This will not be easy," one engineer said. "Even with Rin's knowledge, our ships will need upgrades." Tom shook his head. "We do not have a choice. If we delay, the Dominion will destroy Meridian and the other colonies. We must act now." Meanwhile, Kara coordinated with the fleet admirals. Every available ship was moving toward the outer colonies. Communication satellites were activated to monitor Dominion movements. The Earth fleet needed to strike before the enemy reached Sol. "Commander," an officer said, "we have detected Dominion vessels near the outer rim. They are heading toward Meridian faster than expected." Tom clenched his fists. "Then we do not have much time. We must retrofit our ships immediately." He and a team of engineers began working on hybrid upgrades. Using Rin's data, they designed energy shields that could absorb more damage and weapons that could match the speed of Dominion plasma cannons. It was a race against time. Every hour counted. Finally, after long hours of work, the first batch of upgraded ships was ready. Tom stood on the launch deck, watching the pilots enter their cockpits. He felt nervous, but he knew the humans inside were prepared. Rin's armor data had helped them create a temporary advantage, but it was fragile. If the Dominion discovered it, Earth's fleet could be destroyed before the battle even began. Commander Kara approached him. "Tom, are you ready?" "I have no choice," he said. "Rin fought for us. Now we fight for her and everyone she saved." The fleet launched. Ships of all sizes moved in formation toward the outer colonies. Stars streaked past as they accelerated to light speed. Tom stayed on the bridge, monitoring every movement. Minutes later, reports came in from the front. Dominion ships had detected the fleet. The black cruisers with red lines were approaching, their weapons primed. "They are fast," Kara said. "Much faster than our scans predicted." Tom studied the display. "Use the hybrid shields. We can withstand the first attack." Then the counterattack begins. The Dominion opened fire. Plasma bolts streaked through space, striking Earth ships. The upgraded shields held, absorbing most of the energy. Explosions rocked smaller ships, but the fleet pressed forward. "Target the cruiser's engines," Tom said. "Their speed depends on them. If we can slow them, we gain control." Pilots followed his commands. Energy beams struck the engines of the Dominion cruisers. One ship slowed, spinning out of formation. Another tried to fire, but its plasma was redirected by Earth's hybrid shields. Tom watched closely. "We are holding them," he said. "Keep pushing." Suddenly, a new signal appeared on the scanner. It was Rin. She had returned, piloting a captured Dominion vessel. Her silver eyes appeared on the communication screen, calm and focused. "Tom, the cruisers are distracted," she said. "Follow my lead. I know a weak point in their formation." "We can trap them," Kara nodded. "Rin, guide the fleet. Tom, make sure the systems are stable." Tom worked quickly, rerouting power to weapons and shields as the fleet followed Rin's commands. She led them through a narrow asteroid belt, forcing the Dominion ships to maneuver around rocks and debris. Some cruisers collided with asteroids while others were slowed, giving Earth's fleet the upper hand. Tom could not believe the sight. Rin, once a lone fugitive, was now leading an entire human fleet. Her presence inspired every pilot. One cruiser fired a plasma volley that struck Rin's ship. Sparks flew and alarms blared. She tilted the vessel, avoiding critical damage. "Keep moving," she said. "We are close to the trap point." Earth's fleet converged at the designated location. Using Rin's calculations, they created an energy net. It pulsed with blue light, matching the frequency of the Dominion ship's shields. When the cruisers entered, the energy disrupted their systems, slowing them down. Tom watched the display with awe. "It's working," he said. "They cannot escape." The fleet attacked, using coordinated fire to destroy the cruisers. Explosions lit the dark space like fireworks. Dominion ships tried to retreat, but Rin's tactics left no escape route. Tom felt a mix of relief and pride. Humans were winning against an enemy thought to be unstoppable. After the final cruiser exploded, the fleet held formation. Earth's ships were battered but intact. Rin's vessel floated in the center, glowing faintly from energy discharge. "Everyone survived," Kara said. "Thanks to Rin and the upgrades," Tom smiled. "And to the humans who refused to give up." Rin spoke over the comms. "This victory is small. The Dominion fleet is vast. They will return. But today humanity proved we can fight and win." Tom looked at her image on the screen. "You saved so many lives. You inspired all of us." Rin gave a small, tired smile. "No, you saved yourselves. I only gave you the chance to see your own strength." Kara turned to Tom. "Prepare for the next phase. We need to secure all human colonies and rebuild defenses. Rin will help us coordinate." Tom nodded. He felt a deep sense of purpose. Humanity had fought back, and with Rin's knowledge, they could survive the Dominion. Meanwhile, Rin floated in space near the captured cruiser. She stared at the stars. Her mind was focused on the future. The Dominion would come again, but this time humanity would be ready, she whispered to herself. "We will not fall again. Not while we have the will to fight." Back on the fleet's command ship, Tom began planning the next mission. He studied the maps, the Dominion's fleet positions, and Rin's data. Every colony had to be warned. Every outpost fortified. Every pilot trained. Kara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have done more than I expected, Tom. The fleet owes you." Tom shook his head. "We all did this together. Rin showed us the way. Now it is our turn to fight for the future." The stars outside were silent witnesses to the human resolve. In the distance, a faint shadow moved. A small Dominion scout ship had survived the battle, watching the victorious humans. Rin's silver eyes narrowed. "They are still out there," she said, "but they will learn what humans are made of." Tom watched her with admiration. "And we will stand with you. Always." The fleet set course for the outer colonies, ready to defend humanity wherever the Dominion appeared next. For the first time, humans were not running. They were fighting. And the galaxy would remember that day. The human fleet moved steadily toward the outer rim, each ship alert and ready. The Dominion's remaining scouts had disappeared, but the shadow of their power lingered. Tom stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the stars pass by. He could feel the tension in every corner of the ship. Every pilot knew what was coming, and every engineer knew how much depended on Rin's data. Rin sat beside him, her silver eyes focused on the holographic map. Her armor had been repaired and upgraded, using captured Dominion technology. She was not just a fighter now, she was a strategist. Her calm presence steadied the nervous fleet around them. "We have confirmed Dominion fleet movements near Meridian and the surrounding colonies," she said. "They plan to attack in force, but we know their strategy." Kara nodded. "Then we strike first. We cannot wait for them to reach human space again." Tom looked at Rin. "Are you ready for this?" Rin smiled faintly.
"I have waited my whole life for a chance like this."
"Let's make it count." The fleet accelerated. Communication channels were alive with commands, pilots checking in and engineers reporting weapon readiness. Every human ship, from small scouts to massive cruisers, moved as one. As they reached the outskirts of the Dominion fleet, the scale of the enemy became clear. Hundreds of ships black with red lines formed a wall across space. The Dominion had learned nothing from Nova Outpost. They believed humanity was weak. Tom felt a surge of determination. They will see how wrong they are. Rin activated her armor interface. The blue energy spread across her body, lighting the bridge with a soft glow. She piloted a captured Dominion vessel at the front, guiding the fleet with precision. "Stay close," she instructed. "Use the asteroid fields for cover. Their sensors are advanced, but they are not perfect. We can force them into our trap." The fleet moved as she directed, weaving through the natural debris. Dominion ships fired constantly, but the hybrid shields absorbed most attacks. Some smaller ships were damaged, but they pressed on. Tom monitored the fleet's weapons. "Target their power cores," he said. "If we can disrupt them, we can turn the battle in our favor." Rin's voice came over the comms. "Do not aim for their hulls. Their shields will absorb it. Focus on engines and energy nodes. That is their weakness," the fleet obeyed. Energy beams struck Dominion engines, slowing ships and causing chaos in their formation. One cruiser collided with an asteroid and another lost control completely. Tom could not help but feel pride in the pilots. They had trained for this, and now every human was showing courage beyond expectation. Rin guided the fleet toward a central point. "This is it. Once we reach the trap zone, the Dominion fleet will be surrounded. We have only one chance. Fire when ready." The human fleet moved in perfect coordination. Energy nets and hybrid weapons activated, creating barriers that the Dominion ships could not penetrate. The enemy fired relentlessly, but the shields and tactics held firm. Rin's ship led the charge, striking directly at the largest Dominion cruiser. Sparks and explosions filled space. The enemy fleet faltered, unsure of how to respond. Humans had taken control of the battlefield. Tom watched the displays in awe. The Dominion ships, once unstoppable, were now trapped and vulnerable. Energy beams tore through their engines, disabling weapons and forcing retreat. "Keep pushing," Rin commanded. "We are almost there." The Dominion fleet tried to regroup, but Rin anticipated every move. She directed the human ships with calm precision, avoiding attacks and striking at weak points. Her presence inspired every pilot. Fear disappeared, replaced by confidence and courage. Finally, the last Dominion cruiser fell. Its explosion lit the void with fire and energy. Silence followed, except for the hum of the human fleet engines. Tom exhaled, feeling relief wash over him. They had won. Humanity had survived, and the Dominion had been beaten back. Rin deactivated her armor interface and removed her helmet. Her face was calm, tired but filled with a quiet satisfaction. Tom approached her. "You did it," he said softly. "You led all of us to victory." Rin shook her head. "No, humans did this. I only showed the way. The strength was always yours," Kara came to them. "Rin, humanity owes you everything. Without you, the colonies would be lost." Rin smiled, the same calm, grateful smile she had shown the first time she entered Tom's room. "Then remember this. Humans fight not for conquest, but for each other. That is what makes you strong." Tom looked at her and nodded. "We will remember." After the battle, the fleet returned to the colonies. Survivors were rescued and repairs began immediately. Tom walked through the recovery zones, seeing people smile for the first time in months. Children ran freely, families reunited, and soldiers who had seen death now felt hope. Rin stood on the observation deck, looking out at the colonies she had saved. Tom joined her. "They are safe," he said. "For now," Rin replied. "The Dominion will return eventually, but humanity is ready. We have learned. We have grown stronger," Tom smiled. "And we will be ready together." Rin turned to him. "Thank you, Tom, for trusting me when no one else did. That trust made this possible." Tom shook his head. "You gave us hope. That is more important than any weapon." Rin's eyes reflected the starlight. "Then we must protect that hope. It is fragile, but it is strong when united." In the days that followed, humanity rebuilt. Earth Command strengthened defenses. Colonies repaired what was lost, and the fleet trained with new tactics and technology. Rin worked with engineers and pilots, sharing her knowledge, guiding humanity in preparation for the future. Tom continued to study and adapt hybrid technology. Every ship now carried upgrades inspired by Rin's armor. Every soldier and pilot trained with strategies she had taught. Humanity had learned that survival depended not only on courage, but on unity and intelligence. One evening, Tom returned to the observation deck. Rin was there, staring at the stars. The silence was peaceful. "You saved countless lives," he said. She turned to him, smiling. "And you saved them by believing in me. Remember, humanity's strength is in its heart, not just its weapons." Tom nodded. "Then we will keep fighting no matter what comes next." Rin placed her hand lightly on the railing. "I will stay with you for now, to help rebuild, to guide, and to remind humanity of what we are capable of." Tom smiled, feeling a calm sense of hope. "I am glad you are here." Rin's eyes softened. "I am glad too. Together we will face whatever comes. Humanity has earned its place among the stars." The stars shimmered, distant and beautiful, silent witnesses to a new era. Humanity had survived its greatest threat and had grown stronger. The Dominion had underestimated them, and that mistake would not be repeated. In that quiet moment, Rin smiled again, the same way she had the first day she entered Tom's room. It was a smile full of trust, hope, and the promise of a future. Tom looked at her and felt a surge of determination. Humanity had won a battle, but the war for survival would continue. With courage, knowledge, and unity, they were ready for anything. Rin whispered softly to herself, "No more fear. No more running. Humanity will stand," and humanity did stand, stronger, wiser, and unbroken, ready to reach for the stars and defend the legacy of every life they had fought to save. The galaxy had seen their power and spirit. The story of their courage would spread from colony to colony, star to star, and through it all, the smile that had started it all remained, a symbol of hope, determination, and the unyielding strength of humans when they fought not for themselves, but for each other.